2,300. Okay.
Yes. I think I just reached 2,400 yesterday, so
Okay.
but that
2,400.
doesn't matter.
Okay. What's
Right,
going
let's
on
get it
with...
right. No, I'm just kidding. Sorry.
Wait, what's going on with my... Okay. My mouse is being a bit weird there. Awesome, man. So, you said that you're looking mainly about laning and team fighting. I'd say that's like, a tad generic. So, just like a little bit
Yeah, I
more
didn't.
about why you're here. What's going on?
Yeah, I didn't really know exactly how much to put in there or how generic I should be.
That's what she said. But go ahead.
But yeah, I'm struggling with like getting my team to like focus on like what's actually happening. I feel like every game I'm in, like I'm either having teammates just flame each other and then throwing, or like I don't know, like trying to like guide the game towards what I think is correct
I got you. Um,
without.
yeah, it's a really tough part about Dota because, somebody in chat, I literally accidentally looked at chat, asked a very relevant question of like, is this game more about skill or strategy, and how to enjoy pubs when you have a bunch of random teammates? And I think this question comes up a lot, and partially why I've been, not partially, a large reason why I've been making the community that I'm building is because learning to communicate these ideas in such a chaotic and not toxic always, but in a very volatile environment, it's just really hard, I think, to,
Yeah.
if not impossible. So part of what we're doing is really encouraging people, like trying to create a better environment to learn how to talk about this shit and convey our ideas. In terms of actually getting people to listen to us, a lot of that comes with assertiveness and tone. And for me, I've always leaned on the side of being passive aggressive and defensive, and that comes off pretty hard. And we all have our reasons, and that's something I've been working on. And it's funny because there there is a skill to being able to do it in all scenarios. And the way I look at it in Dota is your MMR is kind of a reflection of, like, let's ignore communication for a second. Your MMR is a reflection of how many different situations you know what to do and how to press your buttons, right? So it's like
Mhm.
skill of communication is what percentage of people can I have like a civil interaction with, you know? And like so many of my stuff I've learned for myself have really paid off in my life outside of Dota, but it still hasn't fully translated into pubs, right? Because the environment is just not
Right.
super conducive. So, in regards to that, a lot of times it ends up me trying to talk to you guys about having a clear idea of what you want in the game and how what your teammates are doing affects that, and learning to respond in the best way for yourself, knowing that you can't probably get them to do what you want them to do. That's
Yeah.
generally the direction this conversation will go. I know it's not exactly the answer everyone wants to hear, but today my goal, I always ask this question, so please correct me if, or I want to ask you in regards to this: is a goal having more like empowered idea of what to do in these types of situations? Like, would that help, or how would you word what would like you would walk away with after this session as being like successful?
I guess just like what how how am I supposed to like, if it gets too toxic, like ignore it and be able to like spin the game in a way to in a win,
I got you.
rather than just like, well, game's ruined because player A and B are just toxic little shits.
I see. I got you, man. Do you have a replay like this from the last, recently, and we can talk about it?
Uh, I had two pre-made, but I guess I have one better than like specifically to what we're talking about now.
Sure. Is that
I
if
can
that's
pull
the
that one up
direction you
real
want the
quick.
coaching session to go? I'm just making sure, like, I don't have
Yeah, yeah.
expectations. Yeah.
Yeah, so the first one I guess would do you just need
I just need the replay
the
ID.
code
Yeah.
for it?
Yeah.
Okay. It's gonna be 867
Oh,
546 5622. Or do you want me to just paste it?
I got you. Up 8.
Okay.
What were the first two numbers? It didn't type it for me.
86.
Okay. You are the
I'm the Skywraith Mage.
Skywraith Mage. Oh yeah, of course. I see it now. Cool. What's going on with my mouse? Must be dying. Okay. So what were your thoughts like going into this game generally? Like what's your like pregame contemplations and stuff like this? Like looking at the lineups, looking at your hero, stuff like this.
So with this game, I felt like we would struggle with killing because we had a support sniper and a warlock. I think we had really good like tower pressure with Luna and warlock ult, so I figured like getting kills would have been a little struggle for at least for the back lines. So I kind of went with someone with really good burst damage. I kind of wanted to do like really fast-paced like pickoffs and stuff like that for at least for through like the early to mid game, just because that would kind of give us a snowball effect on Luna, especially to be able to take high ground since we would have struggled a little bit with that.
Gotcha. How would you describe your laning phase? Like the way you play lanes? How would you describe like your play style?
I'm pretty aggressive. I mean, I play a lot of like OD, sniper, Skywrath Mage. So I like to play very aggressive. Sometimes Quap as well, because I just feel like in this bracket, and I know I'm in the bracket too. I'm not saying like, oh, I'm better than these guys, but like just in my bracket, people don't respond well to it. So it's I think I end up winning most of my lanes because of that.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting that you say that, and I say this in the most polite way. But you tell me you're an aggressive laner, and I think I saw you arcane bolt the guy like one time, I think.
I'm going I'm trying to hold off at least in the early levels because I know that I'm not going to be able to like get him out of lane, especially if since he does have he's going to be going bottle and a wand. So like me just spamming my spells, he's just going to be able to heal off of it and stuff. So I'm trying to kind of hold off. This
Interesting.
game I wasn't as much just because he is a Zeus. He's got that leap and he'll have wand and bottle, so it'll be a little bit harder to just keep him down. I guess I should have just kept spamming so he wastes his resources, but
Yeah, it's interesting. Obviously this is very skewed data, but the only example I've ever seen in the last year of watching mid laner Sky is Thompson, and he probably arcane bolts the guy 9 times in the first creep wave. Um, so I had a and Thompson's overall like an incredibly aggressive player. I I had a coaching session with a 4.6k mid lane player, And I noticed that he wasn't being very aggressive as well at moments. And his reason for it was very similar to yours, if not almost verbatim. And this is where my brain goes. And so just bear with me. It's going to be a bit of a stretch. But Dr. K, do you know Dr. K?
I have no idea who that is.
Okay. He's an online like esports therapist kind of guy on YouTube, healthy gamer, makes a lot of mental health content. He talks about, it's relevant here just briefly, where he talks about one big issue a lot of people have, and I'm not saying this about you at all, is that they'll say things like, I'm a loser. And when they talk about like, I go to the gym and I could go to the gym, I could eat better, but none of that changes me being a loser. And the point that I receive from him saying this is that people make the problem way bigger than it is. What I mean by that is not bigger as in they're making it more serious than it is. They're zooming out from the problem too far. Because when you zoom out too far, what happens is no individual action you take fixes the problem. So if I just blanket label myself as a loser, then there's nothing I'll do that can stop that. So then I just don't do anything. So what I'm hearing from you is this guy has a lot of ways to regen, so there's just no reason to hit him at all. Which I agree that he has ways to regen, and that's naturally a part of the mid lane. But it doesn't mean we shouldn't hit him with spells. That's like how, like each individual trade you make is how you win lanes. It's like you take 60 damage and he takes 100. And that happens, 9 times, and you've like won the lane now.
That makes sense, yeah.
But each individual one is not very impactful. And that's kind of how I feel like we find ourselves in this trap of everything you said makes sense. I don't disagree with you. But at the same time, I need you to fucking arcane bolt the guy. Like that's
right.
So like that's why it's kind of like, hey man, I know. So the guy Dr. K was talking about, I know going to the gym doesn't just suddenly make you not a loser anymore, but it's a step in the right direction. And it's like you arcane bolting that guy is not going to suddenly win you the lane, but every positive trade you're taking is a step in the right direction. And that's what we're trying to convey. So it sounds like you're on board. Does that make sense?
Yeah, makes perfect sense.
Okay, cool. So just kind of being aware, it's really easy tendency, I do it too, is just sometimes we zoom out of a problem too far. I don't know a better way to explain it right now, but I always end up with that story, and I find it helps me better understand when I do it. Okay, so we already watched this part, so I'm fast forwarding a little bit. But I can see how the heroes you play are inherently aggressive. I think we could just dial up the aggression.
I think this one's a little bad example of it, but I try to be as aggressive as I can.
Yeah, I got you.
It also depends on the matchups too. I felt like I wouldn't be able to trade as positively against a Zeus, especially since he pushes the wave much faster than I.
Yeah, generally when other heroes push the wave faster than you, you have to start hitting them right when the waves meet, because then it hasn't come into play yet. But because if you wait towards the end, then like whoever pushes the wave faster will be favored as the wave meets, like the longer the wave has met for. As opposed, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
because as the creeps are dying, their nukes start hitting you too. Like they're nuking the creeps and you at the same time. It's kind of like as a carry player for people listening and also just kind of putting in perspective. For example, a hero like Sand King is way scarier to me when the lanes are low, the creeps are low, right? And so it's like any hero with this AoE nuke that pushes the wave will be scarier to you when you're a single target guy, when the wave is lower HP. So yeah, it's something where I was thinking like the second that first wave meet, you just start off with the arcane bolt and 2 right clicks, and then like as he's going for a CS, you hit him with another one and right click him another 2 times. But if you don't start it from the very beginning, then yeah, he probably does win the trades and it's not worth your time. So it's important we start as soon as possible. So I see that you're going Mana Boots, Atos. So Zeus is rotating. And
Yeah, I was thinking about rotating there, but decided against it. I think I go now.
yeah, so you're okay. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but my team literally just sits under tower the entire time, and I kind of I was looking at my team on the mini map and didn't realize I walked into tower. They get the kills though, so
Yeah, it ended up working out.
yeah.
They were a bit passive there.
It's not like I pinged 10 times, but that's besides the point.
Yeah, I mean, I'll do my best to help you understand what happened here. Let's see. So you go bottom. Let's see, your sniper support. He went to go get a...
Yeah, he went
So yeah,
somewhere.
he just went somewhere. That was weird. Yeah, it looks like just a complete lapse of awareness on his part. I don't think anybody else could have done anything. So look, in this case, it was just sniper. I mean, honestly, we kind of just have to chop it up to people not really paying attention.
Yeah, I should have been a little more aware as well.
You know, the biggest problem when we communicate is that we assume people listen. I actually think it's the biggest problem.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about things that are within your control. Obviously that guy didn't like. It is objectively better for him to have the awareness that you're coming, heard your pings, and not walk back here at 9 minutes to take a watcher. Like, of course, that is not a better play. But like when we're talking about your perspective, right? When we ping for the guy to come and we don't then double check what he's doing, like just a quick like swivel at the map.
Yeah.
That's the only thing we can do is just react to what the guy did. And it sucks when we make that communication ahead of time. And I totally get the frustration if you're pinging in and letting him know ahead of time. But I'll just say when we're talking about your agency and as your coach, I don't care about your sniper. I care about, you know, you getting better at Dota. Is that I sensed a lot of frustration from you, and I sensed a bit of like animosity towards the guy. It's not like you're like super raging, but you're definitely like salty, you know, that he didn't show up. Go ahead.
If this was like a year ago, I would have been on the mic and just cussing him out and stuff. But I've definitely gotten better at just being like, okay, it is what it is. He didn't come. Just move past it.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like it sounds like you care a lot to take accountability for yourself, and that's good. I always admire that.
I've been doing a lot better with that, I feel like.
Sweet. Okay. So
I'm kind of just sitting back because I didn't know who was behind him, but then I saw them 3 on the map. That's when I start rotating back.
yeah, I'm just gonna look for a second here. I mean, this is really nice teamfight execution. A lot of skill, a lot of skills being casted here. Buy yourself your Athos.
I have a really bad habit of not like microing myself with like items and stuff. Like you'll see that staff of wizardry sit in my stash for a while. So the reason I chose this game mainly is because we had like a really good lead, and like I know we have a good lead, and I'm trying to convince my team to start fighting and doing objectives and things. Um, but the Luna just refuses, and the Tide Hunter thinks he's God and wants to run into 5 of them constantly. And they start flaming like each other.
Yeah, I'm listening. I'm gonna keep watching. I need some more information.
What information?
It's hard to explain right now. Okay, so you guys are smoked. So based on you guys smoking, you know, what I noticed, like, you know, the first thing we went over is the time where you ran bottom and the sniper was right here. Instead of like helping you, he went back and you still dove as if
Yeah.
he was behind you. And in this case, you smoked with your team, and what I'm seeing is you're still going despite the fact that they're not with you. And I guess what I'm trying to communicate here is that I'm seeing a lack of patience and what I would call an execution around what your teammates should be doing rather than what they are doing.
Yeah.
And I think it's a really dangerous trap that a lot of us Dota players fall into, which is this knowing what the theoretical best thing is for people to be doing, and it's not wrong. And we end up in this dangerous situation where when you die here, it's because your teammates were too slow, not because you were impatient. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I have a feeling that what you were like, where's my team?
Yeah, after I die there, I'm just like, why is Tide not right behind me, which he was like 2 seconds ago?
Yeah. He went to go smoke the sniper, I think, is what he did. I believe that's what he did. He was smoked
You
right
might be
now.
right.
I think what did he do? He turned around. Why did he turn around? Oh, he's like, he wants to go on mid, is what he's saying. I see. The
I just think
thing,
it's easier to go on these guys since mid still has their tier 2 and they're sitting right on it. So it'd be kind of pointless to run back that way to possibly not get the kills because of the tier 2 when we have a Sven and techies.
yeah, so give me a second here. So what I'm trying to draw attention to, man, how do I explain this properly? What I'm drawing attention to is that when a play goes wrong, the first thing you've communicated to me each time I'm just being honest based on the trends. And then what I assumed here, which you confirmed, is what my teammates should have been doing. So it's like it's external. You're talking about something that's not in your control.
Yeah.
And so I'm drawing attention to that because it is inherently incredibly frustrating, anger-inducing, tilting, powerlessness, helplessness. There's all types of fucking feelings that happen when we fixate on things we can't do anything about. And it's really detrimental to us in so many ways. And I'm just saying that this was a lesson that I learned about 4 or 5 years ago, and I went on this whole probably year or two long journey where my entire purpose was to figure out what it means for it to be in my control or not. Like, literally distinguish, like, people say stoicism, what's in your control or not, whatever. Like, there's so many like buzzwords and like, you know, life gurus that talk about this kind of stuff. But I think it's a really hard topic. Like, I think it's a really deep topic. And the first step that I had to get for a wake-up call was the fact that I'm doing it. And I kind of just had to trust that I can, over time, slowly but surely have a better understanding of what I can control. And I'm just trying to show you that it's absolutely true that what your Tidehunter did there was a bit confusing. But it's also like he saw people mid and thought that was a better play. And it's like, I'm not saying he's correct. I'm just saying that how often are people in Dota games going to see something on the minimap and be like, oh, look at that. And they like run after it for 5 seconds. Like, it's gonna happen. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I'm just trying to draw attention to, no, you can't do anything about it. Yes, it's frustrating. And also, it's a completely reasonable thing for the Tidehunter to do. Is it good? No, it's not good that you guys aren't like smoking together. He should theoretically stay with you. Absolutely, that is theoretically optimal. But then my argument was, when he turns around, then you should turn around with him. Like,
right.
That's my, you know, it goes both ways. I do think on paper your play is better. I think it would be better to dive them under their tower if you had Ravage. Like, the hyper-aggressive under tower play, I think would be better if you guys had Ravage. But since you don't, and you're more of a pickoff lineup with no Ravage, because he has Shard, you have Atos, I do think your play is better. I'm being very clear about that I would make the same choice you made. But it's the death of you not waiting for your teammates that is within your control, and it does play a part in what happens later on in the game, right? It's like, it's not like you lost this game yourself, but like dying here sucks. You know, it gives what? 1,400 gold to Zeus. You know? Which sucks. But I know you guys end up getting 2 kills, and it kind of shows that your play was good. Like, it was a good idea. Even with you dying like that, you guys still got 2 kills. So, yeah, there's like this idea that, yes, you're right, but, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get you. Just trying to play more around my team rather than going for what I think is optimal.
It's better to... Okay, all right, go ahead, sorry.
No, go ahead. That's pretty much my thought.
It's better to do what you think is optimally slowly than it is to make sure it's done at the pace you would do it if you controlled all 5 people at the same time. And it would be infinitely better for you guys to miss these 2 kills because you were patient with your team than it is for you to die and trade here. It is better. Like, I'm just telling you, I think that every time I've learned this, like, I still do it too. It's very frustrating when you're like, God, what are they doing? But it's like, I would want you to look at this and be like, huh, where were they? When could I have seen this? What could I have done about this? Acknowledging that it's just somebody on your team not on the same page as you, making kind of a mistake, and it is what it is. But people make mistakes, and it's fine. As long as we're adjusting to the mistakes that they're making, or the difference in perspective they have. Because sometimes it's not, like, in this case, like, I think your play is better, but It's not always a mistake. It's sometimes just a miscommunication or, you know, whatever. But there is a lot of the dog butterfly thing where people are like, oh, look at that. Let's go do that instead. And they like lose track of what you were saying. People get distracted. There's so many different things. And I'm just empathizing with them because like, I just want to put it in your perspective that it would be really intimidating to like be party queuing with you, knowing that like you would die without me if I wasn't perfectly timed. Do you know what I mean? Like that's a hard standard to uphold.
Yeah, I get that a lot actually.
Yeah. Yeah, and so it's totally like I've tried to show people that yeah, from your perspective, it made no sense in the game. Absolutely. Like, you're like, this guy was right behind me. Where the fuck did he go? And it's like, I get that. Totally makes sense. But then we just, what I try to do for myself, like, this is how I helped myself, is, okay, what was the guy thinking? And 90% of the time, it was pretty reasonable. You have griefers and you have people who are, like, ruining your game intentionally and stuff. But 90% of the time, the guy just did something, like, kind of low skill. And it just is what it is. And so, yeah, I just want to point out that part of being a good teammate is, you know, setting up your teammates for success. And honestly, a lot of that is basically allowing them to fuck up. Like, and having it be that their fuck up doesn't get you killed. Because that's a huge, that makes Tidehunter's little walk to the side there like a really costly play. You know what I mean? Makes it a really costly play. So I'm gonna fast forward here. I don't want you to change your ideas. I think they're pretty good overall. I do think the like early game laning stage stuff needs to be addressed, but like we already talked about that.
Yeah.
And then now we're chilling out a little bit. We're sitting behind Tide. Luna has been pretty passively throughout the map, but we're gonna get a quick kill. We're gonna back off now. I'd be careful here. They're all missing. I don't think you should ever be walking somewhere first. I think as long as you're walking behind Tidehunter, it's good. So if I'm you, I would... So, like, this play here looks kind of rushed, like, when I rewind. Like, I'm getting kind of nervous with you, like, showing in front, like, here and stuff. You're, like, walking in. You're, like, showing in front, and then you're showing in front here. So, like, if Tidehunter is insisting on being over here, then I would just be farming here, honestly. So, you know, I talked about point of contact in one of my recent YouTube videos. You don't want to be the one walking in first. And if your Tidehunter is making it really difficult because he's playing hyper passive, that just means you have to play behind him. And you can communicate like, hey, Tide, I can't go first. Like, I need you to go first. And if he still continues to play passively, then that just kind of sucks. But we don't want you walking into their jungle blind, happening to run into Sven Zeus and dying. You know, like that's like right here, I'm kind of getting nervous for you. I'm like, okay, now I feel good. Oh, okay, now I'm kind of nervous again. I'd be fine if you farm right now. And then now Tide's in front of you, we feel good. Tide's in front, we feel good. Tide's getting initiated onto, not you. This seems okay. Yeah, this seems fine. Like, maybe it's not gonna, like, what you did is fine, is what I'm saying. Not the play, but what you're doing is fine. Nice, you got a kill. Very good. I don't think you could have done anything differently here. Let's see. You're going to enter back out on the map. Okay. Knowing that you keep getting scouted by Techie's mines. You're going to... Okay, your team's going. Okay. Nice Ghost Scepter. Kill that guy. Scepter going in. Kills. Looks pretty good. Yeah. I like your itemization overall. You found that guy.
Yeah, I kind of screwed up here. I should have hid behind the trees because I think I would have killed him.
Yeah, that was close. I mean, these are like little sidestep things. Like, I do agree. I see what you're saying. Like, I'm very rarely concerned about these things because I know you'll self-correct them. Like little nuanced moves like that. I mean, if you have questions, let me know. But yeah, like I don't tend to nitpick that very often. So this is, I'd say your positioning here is still pretty good. You guys kill Sven. So in this case, you don't have Ravage, you don't have Eclipse. I probably wouldn't be forcing a fight. I'd be fine to take Roche. Yeah, that's fine.
pretty sure I tell my team to back up here, but
Yeah,
they just don't listen, and they end up
yeah.
losing.
I mean, nothing you can do about what happened here. But Luna got Aegis actually and respawn, I guess. That ends up going fine. Cool. I mean, I think
Okay,
you.
I couldn't remember if we lost or
No, I
not.
mean, the thing about all of this, I need you to remember, I'm just monitoring your positioning and your play. And you left the pit, played behind them, continued to nuke Roche. I'm happy with that. Like, we just want to identify, was there anything you could have done differently? I think what you did there was completely reasonable. We can't control if we win the fights. We can just control our own positioning. We can control our own execution. And I liked your execution in that fight. So, yep, you're behind your tide. He ravaged. You got to be a bit safe because he used it unnecessarily. You're sitting in the back. Yep. Lingered around a bit too long, I'd say.
Yeah.
Yeah. The thing for me when I rewind this. Yeah, I mean, we actually just went on a guy who BKB'd. I think that's just is what it is.
I think I should have backed right there.
Yeah.
Like I lingered just way too
Yeah,
long.
the second that we went on the Sven and he BKB'd, we used like Ravage on him and everything. I think that was like a disengaged situation. But that's also pretty hard to recognize in the moment. But I think that would be the change you would make. You end up going Hex. Yeah, I mean, I think the E-Blade... Like, I liked the Ghost Scepter, but I think the E-Blade was a bit...
Yeah, I recognized that after I had bought the recipe for it, because I bought the recipe and sent the my courier to Secret Shop to buy the orb. And I was like, I think Hex would be better here, but I was like, you know, I'm just gonna finish out buying it since I already have the recipe.
Yeah, it's like a pretty expensive recipe, so... Yeah, I do think the sheep is a big thing you could have changed this game. I think recognizing that you guys have no way to deal with BKBs was a really important part of your draft from the start. And Hex is obviously great at dealing with BKBs because, you know, it's instant, so... yeah, I mean, I think your positioning in fights is overall pretty good. And, yeah, I think those 2 or 3 mid-game fights were a big deal. I honestly think that this play down here was the by far biggest impact you had on the game because it ended up leading to a 4-kill trade on their part. And I know if you were alive, that would have never happened at that portion in the game. And that's not me saying this game's on you, right? The goal of the session is to identify what we believe to be the things you could have changed and also the core like root of your problems, kind of like we don't want to just say like fix this specific instance, but I do see the tendency that we talked about of playing around what you assume your teammates will do and should do. And I do think if you can add 10 to 15 20% patience to your game and every time you make a play really pay close attention to what they are doing rather than what they should be doing. It's gonna be tough to break. I can tell you that from my own personal experience. It's a tough habit to break. But I think your intuition is good. Your move intuition is good. So I don't want to change too much about that. But I think that's gonna bite you in the foot a lot. For that to happen. Or bite you in the butt.
Right.
I guess, do you have any questions about that? And then I have a few other points of feedback.
No, I think you're right, because like every match that I rewatch is it's just me running in way too soon, or like just not paying attention to what my team is doing, or like noticing my team moving with me and then just like 5 seconds later I'm like, why are they not here with me anymore? So I think just constant awareness of like being with my team.
Just typing up some notes for you real quick.
Okay.
Okay. Important to note that when we ask ourselves what could we have done differently, sometimes there's no answer. Like, if you guys had lost this Roche fight, I wouldn't have said anything. Like, I'd be like, yeah, you did your best. Like, you positioned it outside the Roche pit, you were cautious, you cast spells well, and then your team wiped. Like, sometimes you play it perfectly and your team gets wiped. But I'm directing the focus to, like, that is very rare, in my opinion. It's like, maybe 10 to 20% of the time that something goes wrong, did I, like, play it perfectly. And then I guess one thing I would like to say to you about MMR as a whole and like climbing is I think that when your hero doesn't have the ability to easily push waves or easily farm when your team's not doing anything, it becomes really difficult to reliably climb because yeah, people are just not going to play to the tempo that you wish, and games are going to slow down, and the lower MMR you are, the later games are going to go on average. Like, that's just kind of just how it is. So, like, if I was playing Sky, I would strongly... So, like, for what I see Thompson do, for instance, is he goes Treads, Kaya, Shard. You know? And what Treads do is what happens is, what I noticed in your gameplay, is that you end up sitting mid a lot and you don't push the wave very fast. So there's like not too much time for you to rotate to jungle, rotate to other lanes. There's a lot of this kind of this here. Like where you're kind of just CSing. And so I want you to know that the way mid has impact is by who controls this area first and foremost. That's the first step. Who controls this area? And then whoever controls the area past like 5 minutes pushes in the lane and does something with it. They either get tower, runes, jungle camps, ganks, anything. So I noticed in general you were sitting around a lot in the mid lane. And I want you to know that I basically want you to dial that sense of urgency to push the lane. I want you to push it way up. And I've noticed just specifically on Thompson, because I started doing it too, is he started buying treads on every hero that doesn't push the lane fast. I noticed he just did it on every hero. And I was like, why does he buy treads? Okay. And then I just noticed that it allows a hero like Sky to push the wave. I'm not telling you that you have to buy treads, but I'm just telling you that's what I see him doing, and it makes sense to me. But the end goal is I need you to push this wave faster. And without treads, you're going to have to cast Arcane Bolt, which is fine. It's just, then it's like, would you rather have treads with not having to cast Arcane Bolt or mana boots with casting Arcane Bolt? That's like a feels thing, up to you.
Yeah.
You know? No right answer there. That's just playstyle based. I never advocate copying people. As long as you understand what I'm trying to get you to do.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes perfect sense.
Okay. Increase, I'd say just increase sense of urgency to push the wave in mid and either rotate, jungle, tower pressure, or rune. And this is past, dude, like, I feel like all my stuff is like dying or something. Past 5 minutes, especially. It's not like exactly 5 minutes, but around there. Just because at that point, people can rotate, people have kill thread, runes are coming out starting in the next minute. There's just, the game kind of ramps up in pace around 5 minutes is what I've noticed. And we can adjust accordingly. Like, I would think, I want this wave already dead, you sitting on the rune, ready to TP bottom right now. That's what I'm thinking.
Okay.
And if you got a haste rune, you just TP on this fucker and he dies, you know?
Right.
And that would happen if you had pushed this wave as fast as you possibly could. You'd be sitting on top rune. You have a 50-50 chance to get the rune right now. You have a 50-50 chance it's like an insanely good rune, and you TP bottom and you kill the Zeus. But by taking a slow push of the wave, you kind of hedge your, like, you give yourself less opportunities is generally what happens. Because what do you do when the wave's not dead yet? You sit on the wave, right? That's what we all do. So what do we need to do? We need to kill the wave faster, so we're not sitting here anymore.
Okay.
And that was my biggest... The reason why I was watching through the mid game and saying I needed more information was because I felt there was very little urgency from you to push waves and scale with farm. A lot of it was aggressively walking around the map against heroes. And to some degree, that is Skywraith Mage. Like, to some degree, that's just kind of how the hero plays. But there are moments like this where I noticed it not really being a priority, and I do believe that understanding how to quickly push waves, even if it's still relatively slow and you like playing heroes like Sky, that's fine. We still need to be at pushing them as fast as our hero can. That's
All
how
right.
I look at it. And I think your instinct of rotating and getting kills is pretty good. So if we can ramp up that sense of urgency and farm on the map, you'll end up with better kill opportunities and stuff on average.
All right.
So that's my main point of general feedback there. We've got are any questions about that?
No, no.
Okay. So we've got like 20 minutes ish left. So do you have another game in mind, or where would you like to go from here?
Actually, yeah, because I had a game yesterday that kind of perplexed me on like the
Sure.
laning portion.
Sure.
Uh, just let me know when you're ready.
Yeah, you can. Oh, yes.
For
Yes, I
the
got it.
yeah.
I got it. Go ahead.
All right, it's a 868-229-9159.
But it's not tight, dude. There's something wrong with my Dota or keyboard or something. Say that one more time. Sorry.
All right, 868-229-9159.
Something is not registering on my computer. Maybe my computer's needs to be turned off. I don't know.
So we ended up winning this game, but the lane was just absolutely horrendous for me. And you'll see what I mean by
I got you. I got you. Oh, it's an enigma.
yeah. I wasn't expecting that at all.
Yeah, so interestingly enough, you're against 6 Eidolons, so all we can really do here is know that we can't
Yeah.
like, you have 69 damage, nice. He's got 47 plus 3 times 16, so he's got 95 damage. So if we don't defensive aggro these creeps away from him, he's got 30 damage on us. So one thing about summons heroes is they can't, like, they have theoretically higher damage, but they're susceptible to creep aggro because the creeps can't like move as fast and have high attack range and stuff like this. So by not creep aggroing here, you're agreeing to a heads up CS battle, and it just has to make sense on paper. And I know you're probably never laying against Enigma mid, but that's just kind of how I look at CS damage as a whole against any hero with summons. Same here, same with like Lycan and stuff. And defensive aggro is really good against it. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're kind of just taking a heads-on, like, yeah, we're just gonna CS against this guy, and then he's just kind of, now he's got double Eidolons.
Yeah, I was trying to focus on like last hitting, and that's why I didn't really creep aggro. And he ends up just pushing the wave consistently under my tower, so I was just afraid of like trying to walk up to get the creeps to aggro and just getting 100 to 0 by the Eidolons.
Yeah, so like right here, for instance, I don't think it really came into play in the Skywraith Mage game. I don't think I had an accurate representation of your understanding of creep aggro one way or the other. Do you have like a good sense of what the range is on it, do you think?
Honestly, I don't, because I feel like it's different in every single one of my games. I'll be like right next to the wave and I'll try and aggro, and like the creeps just will not move. So it's like, I don't know.
I got you. My mouse? Okay. So I totally understand your frustration. I'll just play OD even though I don't play this hero. Oh, I understand your frustration because a lot of things in Dota seem inconsistent, but the beauty of them is that they are consistent, but the mechanics are really wonky. There's like something wrong with my mouse today. So I might fuck this up. I'm gonna blame my mouse if I fuck this up. So I'm gonna pause for a second. The reason why, the only reason that, so if I'll do a quick draw or fuck range Dota range display 500. I think that's right. Okay. So if I issue an attack command on an enemy hero when the enemy creeps are inside of this circle, they will always aggro me. Always. There are two exceptions. One, the hero or creeps cannot see me. So I can't show it here. It's really difficult. But if these creeps were right here and the OD was down here and I tried to aggro from up here, these would not aggro me because they can't see me.
Okay.
So that's one reason.
Yeah. I did not know that. I thought it did not matter.
Yeah, they have to see you. Okay. So the next thing I want to show you, I'm gonna push it. I need to set it up real quick. I'm just gonna give myself like a bajillion hyperstones or something. That doesn't help. This guy needs a bunch of hyperstones, and I need to set this up for you. So creeps need vision. And then I need to... Okay. So, creeps need vision. I actually need to kill my own ward. Okay. So creeps need vision of you. The next step to note is that the enemy range creep, or your own range creep, excuse me, will provide vision around it when it's attacking. Look at this. I can see around it. Do you see that?
Mm-hmm.
Up here? So, like, yeah. If I selected the OD, I can see him up here. So what I'm trying to say is if the lane is on your hill, you need to stand next to your range creep in order to aggro it. So he needs to stand right here to aggro. Right? But if he stood over here and tried to aggro, it's not going to work. You see? Like, he's still right there. Shit. Okay? So that's a big part of mid lane. Hopefully that helps first and foremost. There is one more reason they don't aggro you. Did that make sense, though?
Yeah.
Okay. So one thing I've noticed just as a habit of everybody I've ever coached, including myself, is that when something doesn't intuitively make sense to us and it's not working, we usually just kind of check it off our box of things to do. Like, it doesn't even look like you're really trying to defensive aggro in your game. And it makes sense if you've tried before and it makes no fucking sense and you're confused and you're like, this doesn't work anyway, fuck it. Like, if we have a wrench that's supposed to unscrew something and it only works 25% of the time, we're not going to fucking use it anymore. You know what I mean? Like, we're just going to be like, well, fuck this. It ain't worth the effort. So that's, in my opinion, what's kind of happened to you here is you're like, okay, defensive aggro, aggro doesn't fucking make any sense. I've tried this. And so I'm now showing you the two reasons it wouldn't work. Okay. So that's one, is the creeps don't see you. And that's very relevant in mid lane, not very relevant in side lanes. Right. It matters, but much less. So then the next step is that if I issued an attack command on an enemy hero in the last 3 seconds, a lot of times accidentally, then there is a 3-second buffer where they will not aggro me again. So let me show you what I mean. Do you know about this or no?
No, I did not know about that either.
So right now, the enemy creeps are not within range. If I aggro him and then click him, now they aggro me. You see that?
Okay.
So if I do this and then try to aggro, it just doesn't fucking work.
Okay. That's probably what's been happening then.
So what happens is you have to be very Like, you know, I use this. You can't use this Dota range display in like an actual game, but you literally have to get the creep in and then aggro it like right away, and then aggro it again, and it will work 100% of the time if done correctly. But yeah, if you're not aware of why it's not working, it totally makes sense why you've kind of just written it off.
Yeah.
So in the lane against Enigma, it's funny because a big Grumpy. Can you send me the wait? Maybe I have it here. Should work. Is it this? Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
What's funny to me is when you said I was focused on CSing, generally creep aggro is the right play when you feel like your only option is to CS. So what was funny about that is you were like, I was busy CSing, and I'm like, or I was focusing on CSing, and I'm like, well, that means you should be aggroing.
Yeah, that's actually really funny. I didn't know any of that. So
yeah. I mean, sometimes I have to like get people to consistently apply something and be disciplined. Sometimes I do have to just teach you how it works. That's Dota has a million mechanics, so yeah, in this lane I would have wanted you to use a lot more aggro because of the whole he has more damage than you. So it would have applied here, where you defensive aggro right here, like you would have done it here, and you would have done it here. Instead, these like creeps aren't in range, and you would have done it right here. You would have pulled the creeps towards you instead of like walking into the Eidolons later to like you're like trying to harass you're trying to get the creep. We had to walk into the Eidolons to get it. You defensive aggro right here, and then the Eidolons aren't in range to right click you right now, where they're coming to right now. So they're clicking you instead of the lane being underneath your tower. So interestingly enough, I think on average your Astral makes the most sense, but I think against Enigma I would max my Q.
Okay.
Because I just want to hit his Eidolons with the Q.
Yeah, that makes sense. I wasn't really thinking about that because I was so like dumbfounded that there was an Enigma in my lane.
Yeah, 90% of lanes where Astral removes the enemy hero from the game, this is obviously the best spell. But for Enigma, his Eidolons are actually his hero. So, in the laning stage, like they are what make him strong, not the hero itself. So, yeah, Astral not very useful here. Yeah, lack of defensive aggro and the skill build consideration, it makes sense. Like, you're obviously unfamiliar with the matchup, and we taught you the mechanics of defensive aggro, but I think those would fix this lane. You're probably not supposed to win this lane, but you'd take less damage, you'd get a few more CS. That'd be the result.
Yeah, I definitely don't win the lane. I mean, he takes both my towers in like 15 minutes.
Yeah, so the best way to D-push is when the lane's right outside of your tower like this, to aggro it into your tower. Right, that's the best way to D-push. Like, just pull the creeps into tower. Okay. That's the only way you often will be able to D-push on heroes that don't have wave clear. You probably would have still lost your tower anyways, but it would have been delayed by a minute or two.
Yeah, and I'm like asking my team, I'm like, this guy is like very easily gankable. Like, can we do something? And then yeah, no one comes.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that. I think that the only thing we have to do in this case, it sounds shitty, but funnily enough, I would have, if I feel like this lane matchup is shit and I can't do anything about it, the last thing I'm gonna do is invest a bunch of items that say I intend to win my lane and buy some treads. Like, I would just go Brown Boots fucking Midas, buddy. Brown Boots fucking Midas. Like, what else? You ain't being strong anyway.
Yeah.
Like, the thing is that I think Null Talismans are like a nice lane dominating, you're contesting the guy item. They give you more mana, so your Q does more damage. They give you, like, at the early stages, this isn't really kicking in, like, for mana regen, so it's nice to have that extra little bit. But, like, these items tell me you're, like, contesting the lane and stuff. Like, when you feel powerless, just queue up that fucking Midas, baby. And then you, you feel better about it. But when you build, like, lane items, and then you lose your tower and you're losing your tier 2, it's like, this just fucking sucks. But if you had, like, Brown Boots and a Midas right now, you'd be like, this sucks, but I have a Midas, so That's better. You can't do anything about it anyway. You know?
Yeah, that's fair.
That's my adjustment for you. That's what I would have done. Yeah, so you're going to rotate out.
Yeah, this was a really bad play by me, but I think it ends up like being okay.
That's fine to me.
Yeah.
And now you queue up the Midas.
No, I think I think I just go like
yeah, you go pretty
build.
standard item, yeah. I saw it in the post game. Okay. Okay. Yeah, you clearly like high damage, low wave clear heroes. Sky and OD are very similar.
I mean, I do change it up depending on what like my team actually needs, but like here we had an SF who takes towers. We had Treant, who has really good control, and Centaur. So I was like, OD works here. He's very high damage.
No, I mean, I think after the laning phase, you're doing a lot of things right here. This is good. I would love for you to TP mid right now. I would have loved to TP mid right there. There's like so many creeps. There's this. And
Yeah.
There's this. I would have loved that. I do think you're not. I don't think you farm enough in general. I think you would need to dial up the farming maybe 25%, maybe 30%.
Okay.
And a lot of that's just the sense of urgency of pushing waves. You're doing a good job here. It's not like you're horrible at it. It just needs to be dialed up. This was a good example. You like left your lane and showed up to this fight. This is good. And then you're gonna go farm here. You're gonna clear your wave. And your positioning is pretty good. You're going towards top. I like this stuff. Yeah, this is good. I like this. Yeah, I mean, obviously now the game's a bit of a stomp, but yeah, I think the laning stage we learned how to aggro, learned how it works. I would have adjusted the item build a little bit. The thing about it is you're adjusting the item build for the lane, and then you would probably build straight back into what you were normally building. So just instead of 2 null, maybe you finish a null and then you go straight into Witchblade Blink, you know?
Okay.
But, I mean, the Midas doesn't even have to happen. I'm just telling you what I would do in lanes where I feel really powerless. And, you know...
No, I think I would have been a little bit more ahead, maybe, if I did. But yeah, I think I need to be more cognizant of that. Just like I'm failing at this, maybe I should do something to put myself ahead, rather than just being like, well, this lane sucks. I guess I'm just in a sucky lane.
Yeah, I've noticed that it kind of goes hand in hand with people who because I've been there and can relate. When you think in ways of like it's like really hard, like what your teammates should be doing. It's really hard to just accept the situation as shitty. Because you have this like theoretical way it should go, and then when it doesn't play out that way, and you're still kind of living in the should a little bit, then the last thing you're going to do is be like, there's nothing I can fucking do here, queue up the Midas. Like, you're just never going to do that. But there are games where that's actually really important, and it helps you scale later into the game, acknowledging that there's just nothing to hit right now. I mean, I liked the fact that you made a move. What's funny is I probably wouldn't have made this move. I would have had the Brown Boots Midas, and I would have been recovering and been ready to, like, maybe help them if they got dove or something. Because you still do decent damage with, like, no items on OD, so I would have been, like, ready to help there. But I probably wouldn't have made the proactive move. But with the items you built, I don't hate what you did. I just, I mean, I like what you did with the items that you had. But yeah, that just wouldn't be the way that I'm playing. And I feel like you're most likely, from what I'm seeing, you will itemize to make plays in every single situation. And there's going to be games where you can't make plays, and you'll probably fall kind of flat there.
Yeah,
I would imagine, just from the limited games I've seen. So that's just something to, you know, I think if there's one big takeaway for you, we gave you a couple mechanics to work on. But, you know, overarching will apply to all of your decisions is to, you know, draw attention to more fluid thinking of less about the should and more about what's happening in the game and what's the best you can do with it. But I think you're on the right track. You know, you were talking about where you were mentality wise about a year ago. I think you're on the right track, and you've been very receptive during the session. So I'm optimistic that you'll keep heading in the right direction.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. Do you have any final questions before we wrap it up? Anything you want to clarify didn't get answered before that you had come in?
No, this was awesome. I really appreciate the opportunity and the time.
Sweet, man. I'm glad we made it work. I apologize for not clearing my schedule properly and rescheduling on
No,
you.
you're fine. I didn't even like realize the time had changed until
Nice.
I got off work and I was like, oh, okay, that's fine.
Calculated it
Yeah,
perfectly.
I had nothing to do today, so any time would have worked.
Nice. I'm glad it worked out,
Yeah,
man. Well, awesome, man.
yeah,
Thanks for. I'll see you around.
yeah. See you around. Appreciate
Peace.
it.
How much to get coaching from BSJ? It's 120 for an hour, and we also have a VIP service within the Discord where it's 180, where you get to have access to my classes every 2 a week, and then it's also a replay analysis and a coaching session. So it's kind of like a bundle. But yeah, so coaching itself, you can sign up for half an hour for 65 or an hour for 120. I don't necessarily like the attitude I'm seeing from Magna Carta. I think I'll just time you out for like a week. Give you time to think about it. Who has the most benefit from classes? Lower ranks or higher ranks can learn something too. We have a wide range of ranks. I think the highest people in it are around 8K, and we've had people as low as like 200 MMR. So the classes widely vary. We have one class on Sundays that's like subject matter based, where we handle various different things that I'm teaching. That's kind of me bringing in the material, and then the Monday classes are question submission classes. So you can just submit like a replay